Okay, so one more die roll to decide it all. We started today in our first match with a Dragon Link mirror match, and we are gonna end it on the same note yet again with the Dragon Link mirror match. Two opposite versions, but this time I think it's gonna be quite more interesting because they are both maining at least 10 entrops each.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing a lot of different options, and Orion Zen, I'm seeing that he's playing Didicro, something where we have not seen so far today, so maybe it will come up, why not, also because it's a very good card against the Dragon Link deck. While on the other hand, Matteo is always playing his pile of 60 cards deck that never wants to leave. So
yeah, absolutely, Matteo, no surprise whatsoever, but there is a card which is the only player in the room actually using it, and he is maining 3 copies of Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. If that gonna come down, this is actually pretty much a mirror match in terms of extra deck. That can actually shut down a lot of the engine from Ryan, so I think for the first time we might actually have an advantage even if losing the die roll. It's gonna be an interesting one. Let's see. Red Cards is gonna start. He's gonna do it with a quick launch.
And now I think Ryan will try to make the standard Dragon Link combo that we have seen a lot of times today, and I'm really surprised if Matteo maybe has a Winter Cherry. Let's see if he has one.
Okay, and here we see the first Crusadia card coming down. It's definitely an interesting engine. We see how it was absolutely synergic with the Guard Dragons. And the Draco is just an incredible card. It allows you to search for another Crusadia card now that you linked into it. And I'm gonna try and show you guys some of the engines the way we just go through it. But you can move zone, you can have access to a lot of extenders, some of which, in the case of Draco, are dragon monsters. So I don't think you can wish for much more of a engine.
Yeah, now Ryan is just pushing here to make a huge field, and here comes the Crystal, and let's see if Matteo has any response at this point.
Matteo actually gonna use the impermanence, so he has at least one entrop here. No surprise, as I said, he's maining more than 15 entrops, and it potentially is gonna shut down part of his opponent combo. Let's see. So, okay, so he's just using the second effect of a Striker Dragon to get back a card, and he did activate the Sector Launch now.
Yeah. I really like that Matteo is playing 60 cards, and as we said before, he really wants to have a consistent deck, and also he's playing a lot of multiple and different hand traps. I think this is the best decision you can make at the moment, although, I mean, 40 card decks are a good option, and right now, let's see if he will have another interruption to stop Ryan. So now he's going to continue his combo with the Rocket Monster, and
yeah, the Tracer is using his effect. We'll see how much he needs. I think for the first time this weekend, these guys actually have a decent guess on what the opponent is playing, since if they asked for the deck count, one is 60 and the other one is 50. So they can pretty much guess what they are using.
So here comes the Savage Dragon, and I'm quite surprised if Ryan can put up an interruption.
Ooh, but another Infinite Impermanence come down from Matteo. This can actually be devastating. He shuts down the only form of interruption, yeah, and that's it. Play goes back to Matteo. Double Impermanence opened. Is it gonna be enough to just come back? Let's not count Ryan out of this. He has a lot of entrops in his own deck, so he might have like a Didicro or Ash Blossom in hand.
Yeah, as we said before, I really like how Matteo built his own decks, and yeah, I mean, he's just wanted to have a lot of consistency, and also having multiple hand traps in his deck, and right now he's just making some mats. Also because we have seen him playing this pile of deck in YCS Utrecht, so he knows how
Yeah.
the deck works.
This is the same engine that he used, so unexpected die to bring out Galaxy Serpent. Pretty straightforward interaction that is really powerful because it gives you a dragon, a tuner, so all that you need in the different engines. And now yet another one of his unique cards. So the Supreme King, now as you can see, he can send that card with Dragon Raven or Foolish Burial. So it's just another Dragon extender. Do you think he's gonna play around a possible Entrop from Ryan, or just play carelessly?
I mean, we have seen Matteo a lot during our feudal matches, and I think he's going to push as much as he can. Like, if I were him, I would just see if my opponent has any interruption, because otherwise it will just be completely free to whatever he wants to do. And yeah, okay, he's going for the Romulus here, so he just wants to risk it all and having his full combo. And it looks like the Ryan doesn't have any hand traps, so it's very looking good for Matteo at the moment. And he searches the Divinity Lens, and I don't think he drew the Dragonity Phalanx, so he will be able to special summon it.
Yeah. It seems for now that there is no other interruption in Ryan's end. If that's the case, I don't think the situation is looking that good for him. Matteo really proved to be an incredible combo deck player in Utrecht, and he wants to show the world that that wasn't just a one-time hit. He's playing 60 card once again, and once again he's playing really fast, not doubting himself. Ooh, but then Nibiru comes down. So Ryan wants to show also his UK fans that he has something to say. Really well played by him on putting his hand, I would say, face down, suggesting to his opponent that he didn't have any other response for the turn. But Nibiru is there, and the hopes of Ryan and all of his community still stand strong.
Yeah, well played by Ryan here. He just waited as long as he could, so that he prevented Matteo to special summon the Herald from the extra deck. And at this point, Matteo really needs to get back into this game, because things were very looking good for him before this Nibiru. But once again, things are gonna be changed. So
yeah, now we go back to square one, and we gotta figure out if there is a way to still push some damage and recover from here. And as you can see, Nibiru just being one of the most incredible cards ever released, and especially as a TCG exclusive for a while, I would say. It completely changed the way the game was dominated at the time by the Guard Dragon deck. And still today, it is one of the most popular Entrops, even in the main deck, from what we have seen in those 16 players.
yeah, I think for the moment, for what we have seen so far today, the best Entrops seems to be Gamma on one hand, and on the other hand we have Nibiru. You really need to have multiple hand traps like Impermanence, Ash, Droll, but I think the best ones that suited the most, like for the whole situation, are Nibiru and looks like Matteo passed, maybe.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he had a way to just continue comboing off after the Nibiru. He lost just way too much advantage. And as you can see, Ryan, though, has the same problem. He's switching Nibiru to defense position, just afraid of the damage that Matteo can create. Let's see if he can top deck any card to get out of this very peculiar situation. It's very rare that in a mirror match of Dragon Link the game goes this far, but Now the player with the most experience will win. And a nice draw off the top from Matteo. The War Legacy Guard Dragon, absolutely incredible here. Gonna bring out the Phalanx back from the graveyard. And just gotta be careful now, because it's quite possible, just by the fact that Ryan drew and passed, that there is another Nibiru in his hand.
Yeah, I mean, he could have another Nibiru also because, I mean, it's not, we don't see that quite often coming down. I mean, he just passed and maybe he could have another Nibiru, so he really needs to be careful about that. And let's see if Matteo plays around it. He could have some different options. For example, as we said before, maybe he could have another Entrops. So
Yeah. Both are using the Dragon Link deck, but they both have very different approaches. The only thing that they have in common is a lot of Entrops in the main deck, but while Matteo opened with double impermanence, we can safely assume that Ryan had, outside of the Nibiru, something else. For example, one of the key cards in his deck is the only one this weekend actually using 3 copies of DD Crow. A card that is one of the first Entrops ever released in the game, and that it can shut down a lot of the decks at the moment. Differently from others, it's actually quite useful against the Invoked deck or the Eldlik deck as well. But now it doesn't seem like Ryan is doing much. He is waiting potentially for another Nibiru later on in the turn.
Yeah, I mean, Matteo right now doesn't seem too scared about another copy of Nibiru from Ryan's end. So,
and I mean, rightfully so. Honest, like the first one, especially when your opponent is playing 50 cards, I wouldn't say or suggest you to play too much around it. But the second one, is just way out of your comfort zone.
If he has it, he has it.
Yeah.
And right now Matteo is just going through his deck, seeing any other potential cards that he can put on for...
Yeah, he has quite a different options. He could get to the Omni Dragon Brotor, for example, and get his own copy of Levianir. Because once the game stat is as simplified as here, just getting a Levianir and get rid of the last card in your opponent's hand sounds huge. So
yeah, and right now he's just looking for his deck. I think
the Apollousa is looking absolutely incredible, and I think he is the only one bringing his own spice today. I feel like everyone else, maybe Ryan as well, but the other Dragon Link players today were pretty much using the same cards and the same extra deck. They did have a few differences, but Matteo is the only one using Apollousa. And as you could see here, it's paying off a lot. You essentially have a Light and Darkness Dragon that has 3 negations, and that could be one of the game-changing decisions. And as you can see here, it does come up. The Apollousa is the nail in the coffin for Ryan, and it is Matteo who is gonna be the winner of game 1. So for the first time, we see actually a mirror match of Dragon Link being won by whoever picked second. And as we said before the match, this is not too much of a surprise. They both are maining more than 10 Entrops, but really well played by Matteo. Definitely a weird grind mirror match, but
and we gotta give credit to him because every single time he builds deck like this, he always builds his deck from scratch. And indeed, I mean, no one is playing Apollousa, but he's playing it and he paid off. So, well deserved is a great game, man.
Yeah, now things are gonna shape up differently because he already has a lot of Entrops in the main deck, as I said. The Winter Cherry is on top of them all. But he has even more in the side deck. The Forbidden Droplet is an option. Artifact Lancia is also really good in the mirror match. But for going first, he has quite some unique cards. One of them being the number S0, Utopic Zexal, but something even more unique that I will try to talk to you guys about later on is one of the oldest spell cards, which I think saw more action in the anime rather than it did in real life Yu-Gi-Oh! Is Exchange. So Exchange is a normal spell that I'm gonna show you guys in a moment, which says that you and your opponent just reveal the ends, and then you take a card out of your opponent's hand and you just switch them. So definitely a unique effect. I did use End Top with this card back in the day in 2013 when it was Spellbook against Dragon Ruler. But nowadays it can be used to get rid of an Entrap, or to get rid of cards like Dark Ruler No More, Triple Tactics. So it has some merit.
Yeah, it's really good also because you actually get access to your opponent's hand, which means that you actually feel free to do whatever you want. And this could be very good. And on the other hand, we have Ryan's side deck,
which is mostly for going second. This is not much of a surprise. Usually in a combo deck, you want to go first and side as few cards as possible. But enough with the chatting. Ryan is probably gonna go first, but this is gonna be the game 2. We could see Matteo just winning 2-0 comfortably, or we are gonna go to game 3, just like we did in the majorities of today's matches. So, this is one of the few decks in the deck, which is the Parallel Exceed from Ryan. He's gonna get potentially another copy if he has the option, but he can just use it as a normal summon as he is doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the fact that both these players are playing the Dragon Link engine, but in the meantime, they're just playing different copies of different cards. And I mean, this, as Ryan said before, they actually built their own decks from scratch, and maybe he could make quite a good combo here if
once more it depends mostly on his opponent, and now he has the Chaos Zone, probably one of the best cards of the deck, I would say. Not the greatest against Troll and Lock, but luckily that wasn't in Matteo's end.
Yeah, let's see if now Matteo has any response to Ryan's activation, because it's one of the best spell card at the moment.
Yeah, Chaos Space definitely such a great card. Not only does he get one of the best cards in your deck, which is the Collapse Serpent engine, but it also makes it so that you draw a card and you make the engine even larger by shuffling one copy back. So it's essentially a +2 in a way, and it's definitely one of the best spells that the Dragon Link deck can have access to.
Okay, and he has the Ash Blush.
Yeah, so Ash Blossom does stop it. Is it gonna be the only Entrap for Matteo, and is it gonna be enough? It's definitely gonna slow down Ryan significantly. Ooh, it just sets one to the back row, and we might have a very short one here. He discarded the Lancia as well, so I'm afraid that might have been the only line of defense. Maybe he has another copy in his hand, which would be really of key importance, I would say. If he doesn't have access to that, I don't think Matteo is gonna have troubles winning here.
Yeah, I think by discarding the Lancia, maybe he could get another copy in his hand, but just in case, or maybe he just doesn't have any.
Yeah, it's not obvious at all, and now it's back to Matteo, who starts things off with the Cypher. Let's see.
Okay, also has the Noctovision Dragon.
Yeah, so nice, and once again, really changing the way you can approach the deck building in the game. Usually, for years and years, We can say Upstart Goblin was considered one of the best cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! So that it was in the end limited to one. And everyone just thought playing 37 cards was the best way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Matteo is completely changing that opinion, always running 60 cards, but showing us that you can have consistency as well in 60 cards. So
yeah, I mean, I really like this kind of approach. As we said before, we have said it a lot of times, the consistency, as long as with playing many end traps in the deck, gives you access to a lot of the resources. So it's pretty good.
yeah, the thing is, when you play 60, you are able, first of all, to have a lot more space. So just like he's doing, you can main a lot of end traps, and you are guaranteed not to open too many of them. And at the same time, you can run end giants just like the unexpected die, where you have only one bad card and three good ones, if not more. Because in 60 cards, the chance of drawing the only negative one is definitely lowered. So I do think that for combo decks specifically, where there isn't like a free off, that's a game changer. How it could be, for example, for a Salamangreat deck where you really want to see Gazelle or Circle. This makes a lot of sense because at the end of the day, you have a lot of different engines and extenders, but they all get you to the same result. So
okay, so now comes the impermanence on the Link Cross, which is interesting, but if Ryan doesn't have any other end traps, maybe Matteo will be able to continue his combo. Let's see what he decides to do. He really needs to think about his moves, because maybe Ryan could have another Nibiru, as he showed us in game 1.
yeah, once again, the goal has to be the one to get to the Kriston Alki Fibrax. At the moment, he's shut down from getting it, but the only thing he needs to do is get a known tuner on board, and that should be easy. Okay, he's gonna link right away, and as you can see,
yeah, I mean, in this moment, I think he's sitting in a very comfortable position. Yeah, he goes for the Kriston, so looking very good for Matteo at this spot. Ryan has only 2 cards left in his hand.
As expected, this should resolve. Just like in game 1, though, there might be a Nibiru hidden, if not a DD Crow, from Ryan. If that's not the case, I'm sure Matteo will find the most optimal way to keep comboing off. Ooh, does he have the Red Ice in his hand? Wow. So, hard drawn, Red Ice, Darkness Metal Dragon. This changes so much. First of all, it allows Matteo to push a ton more damage, potentially just try and go for game right away. And it also allows him to get back the Seifert, which now acts as a pseudo Chaos Space, getting him the Wyver Buster or Collapse Serpent. So
very looking good for Matteo here. Yeah,
as expected. So he gets the Wyver Buster, and now he's free to do whatever he wants. Is Ryan gonna pull off a trick just like in game 1 and completely slow roll the Nibiru? I think Apollousa might coming up. Yes, so Apollousa comes down. Once again, Apollousa really showing why Matteo was successful in Utrecht and why he's in a really good spot to advance to the top 8. The only player this weekend actually using Apollousa, and twice in a row, it might be the game-winning card.
Yeah, I mean, he's paying off. And now I think he's completely free to do whatever he wants to do, because Apollousa will protect him for any other interruption from his opponent, and he's looking very good.
You can see him going full speed. He was a little careful because he was trying to play around Nibiru, but once he got to the stage where he could summon Apollousa, he immediately went for it, no hesitation whatsoever. He doesn't want to risk losing the game to Nibiru. Absolutely wonderfully played by Matteo. Now the Apollousa is there, he's going full Matteo mode, so playing as fast as he can and just trying to find the win condition, which in this case is probably going to be the OTK in this round. So,
yeah, I think Matteo could end the game as fast as he can. We have seen him playing incredibly fast at the last YCS we had, YCS Utrecht.
Yeah. And now he gets even the Brotor. If he were to use this effect, he can get the Levianeer from the deck. He might not even use the effect of the Levianeer if he just wants to push for damage. Maybe he feels like getting to the Bottlesworth Dragon and ending the game right away. Yeah, the Levianeer is added to his hand. Let's see if he wants to use the effect or not. Now we're gonna see the Pisti. Yep.
Very well played by Matteo. He's showing us once again that it was not by chance that he lost in the final in YCS Utrecht, and he really knows what he's doing. He builds his deck from scratch, and he's totally playing off. So we are glad he's still playing a 60-card deck, and he's showing us how powerful this deck is. So
absolutely. So no hesitation. Again, a very nice show of his abilities and of his deck. Just a few more moves and he should be able to put Ryan into checkmate. As you can see here, he does have the Bottlesworth Dragon in his extra deck, so he might try to get to this position, or just by using the Levianeer here. Yeah. Okay, he does use the effect to spin a card back from the end into the deck, which is surprising me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he could have preserved it, not to activate the effect.
Yeah, because I think maybe he just wants to play it super safe and wants to go for game regardless, but from what I'm watching right now,
yeah, okay.
Yeah, the Bottlesworth should come down. Yeah, and it does. So as predicted from us by showing it on screen beforehand, Bottlesworth comes down, then he's gonna get a second Levianeer. Wow. And this is more than enough for game to be pushed. Raven is revealed by Ryan, and Matteo takes it 2-0 quite convincingly, moving on to the top 8. Incredible match. Let's go back to us for the post-match discussion.